Life is organized chaos. Accept it or fight it. We set for ourselves milestones and goals, and we try to achieve them. And oftentimes we think that our lives are the combination, the collection of all these achievements and milestones that we set for ourselves. And we even describe ourselves and others in such terms. You know, he has a PhD and she has 2 kids, 3 dogs and a hamster, and she's working in a corporate job. But the artist in me argues that life is not in the milestones and the achievements, those peaks, those heartbeats, but it's in everything that's in between. This is the fabric of life. I want to share a couple of stories in this video, personal stories about heartbeats as it happens and life that happens in between them. So I've been struggling with arrhythmia, which is basically an irregular heartbeat. This means your heart is out of its usual rhythm, either going too fast or too slow. And all of that started months before my husband died in an accident. I guess in some paranormal way, if you believe in that kind of stuff, my heart could feel that something horrible might happen. And after the accident, I obviously had serious problems with my physical health. And my heart wasn't working properly. The post-traumatic stress disorder, the anger, the desperation, the sadness, all of that, of course, played a major role in creating an even stronger dysfunction within that physical organ, the heart, which we use so thoroughly during our lives, and whose heartbeats we sometimes record and monitor, but mostly only when we are sick or our body's out of order, right? So when I analyzed it on a deeper level, now recently, I came to the conclusion that I was always a very goal-oriented person, like in that video which I posted about a month ago, where my inner optimist is talking about goals and results and achievements. And I've achieved quite a lot. I have several degrees. I'm working on my PhD in psychology right now. I'm doing YouTube every now and again. I have a corporate job, and it was always about achievements and doing better and doing more and changing myself and changing the world around me and all of that cool stuff. And yet, now recently, I've let my inner artist, who is usually quiet as a mouse, I let the inner voice of my artist to speak. And I realized that I have problems embracing this organized chaos, which is life. And since I do, it is actually a direct reflection within my body, within my heartbeats. My heartbeats are not able to embrace this irregular, erratic rhythm of my life, and the heart doesn't beat well. It doesn't do its job properly because I am not able to embrace the fact that life is this organized chaos with heartbeats in between. I know the scientist might scoff at me. My inner scientist would definitely laugh in derision at this. I am not scoffing at you. This might actually make sense. We just need to throw a couple of clinical studies at it. This person you see in front of you, the inner artist, I have ignored for decades for multiple reasons. Most of them being the desire to achieve, to tick those boxes and those milestones. I haven't allowed myself to breathe a single line of poetry between heartbeats and achievements. I haven't allowed myself to illustrate, to sketch, which I love doing for years. And it took rock bottom to revive my inner artist. The fancy word would be art therapy. I am doing art therapy on myself, writing poetry again and drawing and doing this YouTube with illustrations. The non-fancy term is just allowing my inner artist to be alive again, and allowing the fact that there's so much happening between heartbeats, that the fabric of life is between them, is happening between those achievements. I learned again how to appreciate the process. The beauty of life lies in the process, in enjoying the process of just sitting down and putting pen to paper and drawing, illustrating, writing, whatever artistic pursuit you are doing. You probably understand and feel what I'm trying to not so eloquently explain here. It's like a meditation, to sit down and draw, to think of illustration metaphors for a specific concept that you're struggling through. And I don't want that beauty, by the way, to be taken away by AI. I appreciate artificial intelligence and all the tools and automation it could help us with, but I would not like for it to take away from me this creative process, this meditation and searching of the soul, searching through the chaos of life. I think it is beautiful. And when I look back upon my life, I realize that actually I do not remember the milestones or the achievements or the celebrations or the ceremonies in my life as much as I remember the struggle in between. I remember the chaos of searching for a university at 16, 15 and 16, and I remember the struggles and the worries and the financial unsettling and all of that. I remember with a sort of nostalgia and tender compassion on the walls of my heart towards the young, optimistic self, enthusiastic and brave that I was, moving, to a different country from Eastern Europe to France, and then at the end of my master's moving to the US and starting all over again, completely greenfield, without any prior knowledge of anyone really there. New apartment to look for, friends and acquaintances to discover, and all of that was beautiful. And I think you have plenty of such moments in your life when it felt like life was a disorganized chaos, basically. And yet in those moments, you showed the most amount of strength and bravery and resilience. So beauty is in the process. And life does not consist of only those tiny moments in time, tiny because they only represent a heartbeat. And the rest of it is the struggles and the growth and the resilience that you showed reaching up to those moments. I hope this revives the inner artist in you. Or maybe you already have a very healthy artist with a healthy heartbeat living inside you. Mine tends to spiral a bit, as you can see, with the hair spirals on my head. twinkling and moving, I tend to spiral because I haven't ticked those boxes or achieved those milestones. And then I remind myself of the beauty that lives between heartbeats. And if you're an agile coach or a scrum master or project manager, product person working in an agile environment, you probably have this experience of having your team grow and have fun and crack jokes during refinement sessions and sprint planning, and having the experience as well that the demo, that half an hour or an hour every sprint, every 2 weeks, is just a short moment in time that leads up and is just the tip of an iceberg which is the fun and the building of a high performing team and the excitement of working together. By the way, the hamster illustrations you see here are made by an artist who is in touch with their inner self, a wise person in their early 20s who has figured out what it took me years to figure out. Just in case you do not believe in the touchy-feely poetry of your inner artist, I would like to alleviate your fears from a scientific perspective. So actually, most of the neurotransmitters of enthusiasm and motivation and happiness are secreted when we are in the pursuit of a goal, of a milestone, of an achievement. If you're a gamer, you definitely get that. It is during those moments when you're in the chase, when you're in the pursuit of something important, a trophy, that you get the most amount of pleasure and motivation and enthusiasm. Basically, your brain is flooded with those neurotransmitters while you are in the pursuit of that achievement. So the beauty is in the process, and it turns out the neurochemistry of it is also in the process and not in that point in time when we get the achievement, when we tick the box, when we've completed the milestone. While I was blabbering about the science of it all and boring you to death with it, I realized that actually my inner scientist character has spirals on its head. And it struck me that my inner scientist is actually the one who spirals the most, is the one who is interested in achievements and metrics, analytics, statistics, all those big words and big numbers. That's what my inner scientist is usually interested in. So make sure that your inner scientist is compassionate overall to yourself, especially that it seems the neurochemistry, just as our life and the beauty of it, lives between heartbeats and not in those spikes.